Well, tonight, a special feature on a little-known Iowa success story. Now, this may come as a surprise to many Hawkeyes, but one of their former neighbors saved more lives than any other person who has ever lived. This week, a statue of Dr. Norman Borlaug will get a showy unveiling at the U.S. Capitol, enshrining the icon for years to come. ABC 5's Abraham Swee reintroduces us to the American hero.
Norm Borlaug is about as Iowan as you can get.
I grew up on the land, on a small farm in northeast Iowa. But life was not always easy.
Norm quickly learned the value of hard work, work that would eventually give him celebrity status around the world.
He saved more lives than any other person who has ever lived. That's what gets you iconic status.
That status has seemed to slip the minds of his neighbors back home in Iowa.
No one in Iowa had ever heard of Norman Borlaug. They didn't know what he had done.
What Norm has done is almost unimaginable. He's credited with saving 1 billion lives, and that's not a made-up number. Without the advances of Borlaug, millions around the world would have left it long ago.
I think he essentially convinced us that science needed to be embraced and science needed to be enhanced in order to meet the challenges of food production for not just the United States, but for developing countries.
After college, Norm moved to Mexico. His goal, find a better way to grow wheat.
I always told him on the first day, we're going to teach you to be rebels, not with guns and daggers, but with science and technology.
After years of work, he eventually developed a variety that could withstand disease and also produce a whole lot more food.
It became the single greatest period of food production and hunger reduction in all human history.
Norm would move on to take his findings around the world, making giant strides in India and Pakistan. It won him the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970.
I am personally honored beyond all dreams by this election, but the obligations imposed by the honors are far greater than the honor itself.
Borlaug became a diplomat. He hated red tape and, most of all, paperwork.
And then when I come back, we got the annual report. And when I'm going to Argentina, if you let this pile up any deeper, God help us both.
Above all, Norm wanted the world to be ready to face its own destiny. He wanted to make sure we didn't let things get out of hand.
I mean, we are faced with a significant challenge that Dr. Borlaug, I think, recognized before a lot of others. And that is the world population is going to continue to grow. The amount of land available to produce product is going to continue to shrink.
Through all his journeys, Norm returned every year, without fail, to his golden fields in Mexico.
It was, really for Norm Borlaug, what mattered the most was seeing these farmers, these small farmers that he identified with. After all, he came from, a small farm in Howard County.
That small farm just outside Cresco, Iowa still stands. Tom Spindler is trying to make sure it stands for the ages.
His message was always that, listen, if this guy grows up in this little small farm here and was able to accomplish this, then other people can do this too.
With that message, Borlaug changed the course of life after life.
He changed me and inspired me to do what I'm trying to do to keep his legacy alive, and I'll do that from here on out.
And so with education and inspiration, here's to the next generation of Norman Borlaugs. Abraham Swee, ABC 5 News.
Abraham, thank you. Borlaug's statue will be unveiled this Tuesday in the U.S. Capitol on what would have been his 100th birthday. Now, tomorrow night, Abraham will bring us a second piece from Washington, retracing the statue's journey to Statuary Hall. That's tomorrow night at 10.